What's up, everybody? Corey here, back again with Xbox Tavern with another review. This week, I'm taking a look at Marvel Midnight Suns. Yes, this is the brand new tactical RPG from the Firaxis team. You may know them from the XCOM games, and a lot of people like to classify this game as Marvel XCOM, and I can see the comparison, but it is a different game in its own right. This game is a card-based tactical strategy game with some RPG elements. You're going to be looking at a subset of the Marvel characters that you might think that go together and some that you probably don't think they go together. This is all about teams interacting, building relationships with these different superheroes, and going out on missions. And the missions is where the card-based gameplay comes into play. Now, first and foremost, this is a long game, 60 to 80 hours I'm seeing as estimates. I'm about 20 hours in, so keep that in mind. But I do have a good grasp on everything that's going on so far. Back to the card-based gameplay. This is sort of half of the game, if you will. This is the part that I have the most fun with, but you're going to be going out on these missions, and some of them have different objectives where you have to keep something alive or healthy, or some of them you have to destroy something in so many turns. Some of them you just need to kill all the enemies. So each one's going to have its own unique objective for you to accomplish that has some varied gameplay in it, which is good. It helps. But when you go into battle, you are taking 3 different superheroes into that battle that you get to pick. You don't have to pick your character either, so you can keep that in mind. But I always tend to keep my dude in just because I want him to be part of it, you know? And I think he works well with pretty much all the characters. But when the mission starts, you're given a subset of cards. Each hero that you take into battle has a deck, and from that deck is going to be your hand. You're going to have a limited number of card plays. So this is the actions that you're allowed to take. And an action is using a card. Now the cards do all different kinds of things, and you have to read and learn about each one. And some of them will grant you an extra card play if you knock out an enemy. Some of them are just free, and then some of them chain enemies together. Again, there are so many different cards. Each hero has their own style of deck, and so you're going to be finding your favorites and bringing them in the battle. But that's something else that you have to think about. As you play with other characters, you're going to have to manage relationships and friendship levels, and these friendship levels will build. Those grant bonuses, and you're able to get more of their cards and ultimately build an all-around better deck no matter who you take into the battlefield. But you will have a smaller subset of a few of your favorites, most likely. So that's kind of the card-based portion of this game. Now, I said that was half. The other half happens outside of the battle. You're taking to this sort of open world place where you get to explore the Abbey, which is kind of the group's safe house. Everybody has a room there. There's a library and a forge, and that's where you pick your missions at, things like that. It has its whole outsider grounds, if you will, to explore. Now, a few hours into the game, they're going to tell you that you don't have to go on these explorations. You don't have to talk to the people that come up during this in-between time. That's optional. However, you're going to be severely disservicing this game and your time with it. It is just as important as playing well on the field, if not more important. As you build these relationships and talk to people, one, that's where a lot of the lore and the story comes from. You're not going to get that in the mission necessarily. Secondly, like I said before, building these friendships will grant you buffs to your heroes. Sometimes if you help out a hero, they'll come into the next round that they play, the next mission, with 4 card plays instead of 3 to start out. So instantly, that gives you a leg up on that particular mission. As you start to help out these people and do other missions, you're going to find the forge area where you can upgrade and get more cards. You can even build cards and build off of blueprints that you find. There is the training yard, which is where you will go to fight and train with the other heroes just daily, which is mostly just picking a hero from a list that you are allowed to pick from, and that gives them a little bit more friendship XP. And it'll get you something in return. At first, this whole middle part had me questioning, like, why do I want to do this? I want to play the battling part of the game. And while the battling is my favorite, this part has quickly become super important, and I look forward to it just as much because you are talking to everybody, you're getting that story, and every time you talk to somebody, it's like something small upgrades, and you just want to see, ooh, what's the next one? What's going to give me the next critical piece of gear that I might need? Speaking of gear, there are a ton of cosmetics in the game. One of the currencies that you find will allow you to purchase those as you unlock the ability to purchase those. For the most part, that is all cosmetic, and it actually adds to like the liveliness of the game. There's an option where you can turn on outfits to change daily, and that goes for yourself in this middle part, the battling portion, and as well as the other heroes. So as you unlock more, people are going to be changing their outfits, and it just feels like more of a real world kind of deal, because you are on a schedule here. And so as your days go on, you can do one mission a day. And so after your mission's done, you might have a couple of people to talk to at the nighttime, but then you have to go to sleep. Then you wake up, and then you have more stuff to do that morning, go on your mission, come back and repeat. So you're in this section a lot, and it does follow a day-night cycle, if you will. I did mention exploration earlier. This is a fairly big sandboxy area in this part. Not only are you going to be just talking to people, you're going to be exploring and finding little collectibles, gifts, because as you build relationships, you can give gifts to people to enhance their friendship. You're going to be finding ingredients for different things. So one of the social aspects of the game is there's like a smartphone social app that the heroes talk to each other with, and there's going to be little social clubs that you join, and you'll need certain things in order for the activity to take place whenever the next meeting is of that group. And it's not all for nothing. Doing so will grant you brand new cards or brand new abilities that you couldn't have gotten otherwise. There's a whole another story that's happening as a side, kind of a side story in this middle part, this open world part, where you're going to be, again, it's optional, but I highly recommend you doing it. But you're going to be going on fetch quest and getting powers back in order to open up areas around the map. This will allow you to explore those further and move another storyline across the line there. I don't have a lot of bad things to say about the game in my time with it. Possibly the text could be too small if you're playing on a TV far away. On my monitor right here in front of me, it was fine. I had a couple of crashes with the game, unfortunately. Every time though, it's been at the end of a battle, kind of when it's over, and luckily the save is right before the end of the battle. It's on the last turn, so I just have to repeat that and see what happens there. In one particular case, it crashed on me twice, and so the third time I just loaded a save before that mission, and I just picked a different one, and all was well. So that was a little bit of a downfall, but otherwise this game is really great. Right now it's one that's always on my mind. It's always what I want to go back to and play. I'm going to be playing it right after I make this video, so it's definitely one that's going to keep my attention for a long time. And I do want to make another follow-up video whenever the time comes that I can see this game to the full end of it. But for now, go over to xboxtavern.com if you aren't already there. Check out my numbered review score, and I will catch you in the next one.